Hi there, it's Miss Colliver. I want to talk to you today about something very important. It's actually about a law that was created just for you, the student, and I want to talk to you about how that law can help you. It's a law to keep you safe and free from being bothered by a bully. At our school, we are a no bully zone. We don't want anyone to bully, threaten, embarrass, harm, or cause you humiliation or embarrassment. We don't want them to do that in person to you, and we certainly don't want them to do that over the internet, which is what we call cyberbullying through Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, texting, or any of the other platforms. It's not okay to do that. Even if you're away from school, it is not okay for you to do that, and the law covers protecting students from that happening to them. Okay? Let's talk a little bit about what a bully is. Sometimes we can confuse someone having a mean moment or having a very cranky day with a bully. And we use that word bully for a lot of things. So let's really figure out what a bully really is, and let's separate that from those who are just rude or having a cranky day, or who might just be having a mean moment because they're frustrated, and that happens to all of us. But first, let's talk about the bully. I'm going to draw something on the board for you, and I know you'll know what it is, okay? Let's do that really quickly. Are you following along? Does that kind of look like a target to you? Yeah, a target is something that we put our eye on and we aim at. Sometimes when we're doing bow and arrow practice, we look at the target and we want to see where the arrow is going to go, and we let that arrow go and we hope that it meets its target. Or if we're playing darts, we aim at the target and we try to let go of our dart at the right position so that it will make contact with our target. Well, bullies use targeting. They target a person, sometimes more than one. It's not an accident when they choose someone. They choose someone on purpose, and their goal is to make that person miserable. They want to embarrass them. They want to make them feel bad about themselves by using put-downs, name-calling. They will talk behind the person's back and say really awful, negative things. And all of that is meant to make the person feel miserable. They can also threaten. They can threaten to hurt you physically. They can threaten to embarrass you or to talk to other people about you. But it's all designed in the bully's mind to make you miserable and to make you dread being anywhere near them. No one needs to live like that, and that's why there's a law that says you have a right to be in school and you have a right to be free from the influence of any bully. And if someone thinks that they're going to bully you, then you have the right and protection to tell on them. You can tell any adult in the building what happened, and under the law, they must report that to the administration or the principal. The principal also, by law, is required to do an investigation. He can't wait a month to do it. He can't wait a year to do it. He must do it in a timely manner, which means he can't put it off. He has to get right on it. Sometimes it may take 2 or 3 days for an investigation to be complete, because not only will the principal, while he's investigating, come to you for you to tell him what happened and anything you can remember about the incident of someone harming or threatening you, like a bully does, but he will also talk to, was there anybody else around who saw it? He may also take some time to roll back the footage on the cameras that are in our building and see the evidence of what happened. Because a lot of times a bully will say, I didn't do any of those things. But the camera doesn't lie, nor do witnesses. So you are protected. You know, we don't have many true bullies in our school because they don't last very long here. They are oftentimes found out because you report them and you don't back down and you don't get frightened, you report them, and eventually the bully is asked to leave the school. It's not after a million times of warnings. If they are a true bully and they are harming you emotionally and harming you physically, threatening you repeatedly over and over and over again, then they are asked to leave the school. And they do leave the school because the law protects you and gives you a right to be at school and feel safe while you learn. I'm going to write a couple of other things on the board because they're important and I don't want you to forget it. One of the words I'm going to write is the word target, because a bully will target you, okay? They will also do this kind of intimidating and harmful behavior towards you over and over. We call that repetitive when it's over and over. But I'm just going to write over and over on the board for you. Here we go. Over and over. This is my little sign for over and over. And, okay? So not only do they target you, they pick you out on purpose, but they do it over and over again. They also like to make you feel frightened. They like to make you feel afraid. They like to make themselves feel more powerful than you. So oftentimes they'll pick on someone that they think might not stand up to them, okay? So there's an imbalance of that power. They seem really big and controlling, even if they're this high, and the other person feels intimidated and frightening. So there's an imbalance of power, them feeling they have all the power, and you feeling like you have no power to do anything about it. So there's an imbalance. Okay? So, now that we have those things established, let's talk a little bit more about what bullies do. Okay? I'll erase these so we can do some things in the list. All right? They, oftentimes, while they are giving you a hard time, this is the person that you see because this is what they're doing to you. But when a teacher watches them and they're sneaky about what they do, this is the face that they show to the teachers and the principals and other people's parents. But those who really know what's going on, like you and a few of your close friends, see them for what they are, which is pretty mean-spirited and doing things on purpose to hurt you, harm you, and make you feel awful. That's not acceptable, not ever. Adults can be bullies as well as children, and it's not acceptable. It's wrong, and it needs to be reported, okay? I want to talk to you about some things that are considered rude behaviors, but if you do it over and over and over and over, and you're picking on one person all the time, you might not think it's bullying, but it certainly meets the definition of what a bully is. Let me show you something. This is something called gossip. You see, one person is talking and telling all kinds of things, the other person is listening. It takes more than one person to gossip. It takes one who's talking and one who's listening. It's a good rule not to listen when people talk badly about other people behind their back. Gossip doesn't have to be untrue. Gossip could be the truth. But it's not okay to spread that behind other people's backs, okay? That's something that we need to be very careful. We need to ask ourselves the question, is what I'm saying helpful? Is what I'm saying going to build somebody up? Or is what I'm saying just entertaining? And would it hurt them if it got back to them? That's something I want you to think about, all right? Gossiping is not a good thing. So I want you to really think about that. A good rule that I like to follow is if I would not say it to somebody's face in a conversation to them, then I should not say it behind their back. If I am telling something that's truthful, would I want them to hear it if they were in the room? Would I suddenly be quiet and say, oh, I'm not saying that, they're in here? If you feel that way, that's probably something that you shouldn't share. Remember, our words should be kind, our words should be positive, our words should build others up. Showing respect is using your manners and showing courtesy always. If you follow that rule, you will not be caught in the gossip trap. Well, how do I get away from someone who's gossiping because they have a habit of it? One thing you can do is just put up one hand like a stop sign and you can say, you know what? I know you want to talk about that person, but I've made a new rule for myself. I don't want to listen or talk about other people. If I can't say it to their face, then I don't want to say it or listen to it behind their back when they don't know about it. It's unkind, all right? So we've talked about bullies target us. Bullies do this behavior over and over and over again. There's an imbalance of power. Those are things to remember. Let's talk about where we get confused. So I'm going to draw a little line right beside here, and I'm going to write the word rude right up here. Rude. I might even write the word, oh, a mean moment. We are not perfect people. We all have been rude at some point in our life. We all have had a mean moment sometime in our life. Is it right to be rude? No, it's not. Is it right to be mean or to have a mean moment to somebody else and take our anger or frustration or stress out on them? No, it's not. These are the things that we strive to work on when we self-regulate our emotions. We have control of our emotions and we understand where they're coming from. If we're hungry and tired and hot and frustrated, it's very easy for the stress to cause us to maybe say something rude. Let me give you an example. If you're hot and tired and frustrated and someone says, I need you to get in there and clean up your room, please. That would be a time when you might be like, oh, I'm hot, I'm tired, I'm hungry, I don't want to. It happens to all of us. You know, a mean moment might be when we just kind of lose our temper. We're frustrated, we're under a lot of stress, and we just say something like, go away and just leave me alone. Go away. We all reach a point where we need personal space, and we have to learn how to regulate our emotions, and we have to learn better ways of saying that. A better way of saying that is, I'm feeling really frustrated right now, and I just need just a little bit of personal space to catch my breath and just calm down, but I will get back to you. Those are ways that we can do that. At school, a lot of times, someone is rude to somebody else. They say, "You're not sitting by me today," or "You can't be with me today." If it only happens once or twice, maybe there's a reason why they feel like, "Oh, you can't be around me today." Is it rude? Yes. Is there a better way of handling that? Yes. Should they handle that in a better way? Yes. Does it hurt your feelings when they do it? Yes. Does that make them a bully who targets you on purpose, who does it over and over and over and over and over and looks for every way possible to make you miserable? No, it stops there. Can you tell on them for being rude? Absolutely, and I hope that you do, because we're all growing and changing. Even adults are growing and changing, and they need to learn how to control their emotions. It's a lifelong goal to learn how to control our emotions. There's a difference between someone being rude and someone being a bully. And I'm going to write this up here, bully. You know, sometimes we wonder, well, how in the world could they be so rude? One thing you have to remember is that everybody's family is different. What I might think is rude, you and your family may not think is rude. What your family think is rude, my family may be okay with. There are many, many differences between families, how they're made up and what they do and how they treat each other. And if their family knows, hey, we love each other, it's all good here, then that works for that family, okay? Here's where the tricky part comes, and this is where some of this comes from. Not always, but sometimes, and it's important for us to be understanding of that. We all have to do better, but it's important to be understanding. This is a picture that I really think is pretty funny. You can take a good look at that. You see that family? They are arguing and fussing over maybe an old style TV or a microwave or some kind of electronic device. They all are thinking of themselves, and they're all feeling very comfortable with one another that they can all just grab it. Does that happen in our homes? Maybe not over the TV, but it does happen over like our video games, over the cereal box. You ate the cereal last. Maybe there's some silly name calling going on. We have names that we call each other at home. You know, and if that's what we do at home and that works for your family, that is your family's way of doing things, okay? But when you bring your family's ways of doing things into the school, and I bring my family's ways of doing things into the school, and everybody does things differently, it could cause some problems. I like to goof around and have a really fabulous time with my kids, but if I goofed around here all the time, always playing and goofing and pestering and, you know, laughing and looking for ways to have a good time, I wouldn't get my work done, and my boss would see that as very rude. Yeah, we had a little visitor there. Also, if I brought some of the silly things that we do at my house in, somebody else might think, well, that's kind of mean, Miss Colliver. And I could say, oh, I didn't mean that. And I'd have to explain it. The best thing to do is remember that there are ways that we act at home, and then there are separate ways. There's a big boundary here that we need to behave at school. So many of the misunderstandings about what a bully is, what a bully is not, what is rude, what is okay, what is not okay, comes from some of those behaviors coming over into the school. You know, we bring them in from all kinds of places. Does that mean we're bad people? Absolutely not. We're fabulous people. Does it mean something's wrong with our family? No, it does not. Our families are fabulous and wonderful, and they function in a way that works for them. Do all families need to be the same? No, they don't. We all express things differently, but that's kind of where some of that gets started. We need to watch for those things. Sometimes when we're not used to a behavior or it's something new to us, we automatically think, it's rude and they're mean and I don't like them, so they must be a bully if I don't like them. Let me give you an example. This is an example of how we could mistake somebody for a bully, but they're not a bully. It's just part of who they are and their personality. And unless we communicate that, we're going to have some confusion. Here's a picture of someone who is yelling. They're saying, listen up. They're yelling, okay? There are people who are made with very strong vocal cords and lung capacities. They can really be loud. If I had to yell across a football field, there's no way I could do that. My voice has always been very soft, and I can't be exceptionally loud, and when I do, it kind of hurts my throat. But there are others like coaches and singers who can really project their voice, and they can get directions way across a football field or across a gym. But when they say good morning, their voice level doesn't always come down from that loud. They may say, good morning, how you doing today? And someone who's quiet and who comes from a quiet home may be like, oh, they yelled at me. What did I do? I didn't do anything to them and they don't like me and they must be mean and they're a bully. We have to slow down and remember that everybody's different. And if we don't know what something means, we can always ask them. You know, you always yell at me when you see me. Why do you do that? I'm sure they'd say, oh, I didn't know I was coming across so loud. I'll work on that. You remind me, it's okay. Because we're all working together, we're all learning together, and we're all in this place together. So, a quick review, because I want you to remember this. The best way to prevent a bully is always to report it. Always tell an adult. I always want you to tell somebody at home too. Tell an adult at home. 2 people you will always tell. I want your people at home to know what's happening with you, and I always want you to tell, okay? Remember, the law is there to protect you. An investigation will be done by the principal. It could take a couple of days as he looks at the film and talks to witnesses, but that will be taken care of. Remember, a bully will target you on purpose. They will do it over and over and over and over and over again. And they're going to make you feel as though you have no power. I can't take up for myself. I don't know what to do. That's part of what they do. You can know the difference between someone who's having a rude moment or is having a bad day and a bully by looking at those things, okay? We need to cut a little slack for people, but I want you to know if it makes you feel uncomfortable, you can always tell. And I hope you will. Will they get in trouble for being mean or having a rude moment? Yes, they should. Should you be able to tell? Absolutely. Is it important to us? Yes, it is. What if I don't know the difference between is it a bully or is it a rude behavior? It's okay if you don't know the difference or you don't know in that moment because you're feeling a little upset. You can always say to the adult you tell, I just don't know if it's bullying or if they're just being rude, but I don't like it and I need some help with it. We'll know what it is. Okay? Remember, bullying also includes the internet, cyberbullying. We don't want that, okay? Someone's doing that, I want you to tell somebody at home, and I want you to block them immediately. Can the school do something about stuff that happens at the bus stop, on the bus, outside of school, on our school grounds, at school functions? You bet we can. You bet we can. So remember that the bully prevention law is there for you, and I'm very glad it is. Until next time, I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope you'll think about these things.